welcome to the ESPC show. It's Paul and it's
Megan.
And today we are with John Lewis. We're going to be talking about interior designs. Really interesting episode.
Yeah, really interesting. We talk all about the latest trends in interior design, some quick fixes on how you can get your home ready for taking to the property market, and we really go and do a deep dive in their interior design service, which is completely free. I don't know if we mentioned that enough in the episode.
We were still talking about it afterwards, saying we couldn't believe it, and you'll see why when they go into the detail when Mhairi talks to us about what you get for that. It's fantastic value.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, value. It's free.
Yeah, exactly. So without further ado, we'll just pass over to our conversation with Mhairi. So we're here for our next episode with Mhairi, who's a home design stylist at John Lewis. Welcome, Mhairi.
Hi, thank you so much for having us along today. It's really exciting.
No problem. We're excited to have you.
We are.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the Christmas advert as well, weren't we, before we started, so how much we like that. So I'm sure we're going to touch on this. So
yeah, absolutely. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into interior design.
Yeah, great. So I actually started out studying textile design at Heriot Uni down in Galashiels. So I specialised in weaving and then weaving for interiors fabrics. But really I fell in love with interiors and architecture when I was a kid because I grew up in Hong Kong, and being exposed to so many different styles from all around the world was really grew my passion for interiors as well. So, and it was just great to be exposed to, anything from traditional Chinese with feng shui through to really modern architecture as well, and just being exposed to that was just fed my soul really. Yeah, so I absolutely love it. I joined John Lewis actually originally as a manager, but then I decided I really wanted to get back to doing something creative. And that's when I was able to join the home design team with my textile knowledge and bring that colour, perspective, all of that to the job as well. So
it's a dream job for you then, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is.
It really
I know.
is. Yeah. and the feng shui bit, because we've done an episode on that.
Yeah.
Do you bring any elements of that into the
I
designs?
try to be aware of where north-south and how that can affect your flow of your chi through the property. But really it comes down to light and, are you north-facing, are you south-facing, east-west facing as well, and how the light affects your property and how it can affect colour as well within that. And we just try to bring a bit of joy, but really looking at our clients and who they are. I think it's important to be aware of trends, but don't get too caught up in trends, because it's about who you are and about bringing your personality into your property as well. So we do look at trends, but I say we want people to feel that it's reflective of who they are, really, rather than, getting too caught up.
I think I've done that before. You've gone and just bought a picture because it's trendy, and I thought I've never really liked it. Whereas now I'd buy something that resonates with me.
Yes, I think that's so important. I mean, you've got to love a piece. No point getting a piece just because it's the latest look or whatever, because you'll just have to update it in a couple of years' time. And I think so much more everybody's thinking about sustainability as well, so it's really important to buy a piece that's going to give you longevity. That can be an occasional chair, which can be really fun and colourful, pattern, whatever, or if you're looking at buying a sofa, how is that comfortable, and function over design comes first really, and we do try to make our customers aware of that, so but the home design service is great because you can come with your ideas, but we may give you things that you haven't thought about before as well, so it can be a real collaborative process with our clients as well. So while they might come in going, I want maximalism, and then you're down.
What is maximalism?
Maximalism is
it's just
basically
cram it full of things, is it? No.
Well, that's what everybody thinks. But if you did that, it would get a bit chaotic. So really, it's about maximalism is about creating it in a bit more pared back, but basically taking a colour. Say you had a big wallpaper, which had a lot of pattern in it, you would take a colour out of that, and then you would thread that through to maybe another pattern, which maybe if you had like a large print in your wallpaper, do a smaller print in your cushion, but you would carry a colour, a thread right through. Yes, otherwise it becomes far too much and you end up with a curiosity shop, you know. Which can be fun, yeah, but you know, but can be too much on the eye, you know. So you want your home to be relaxing and somewhere as this little bit of a sanctuary to come home to. So so while you can go for that, and you know there's loads of stuff out there, for example, like Sophie Robinson's just done a collection for Harlequin, and that is amazing. It's a little bit of these dopamine. Have you heard about the dopamine trend? Dopamine decor going on?
No,
yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that.
It's very Instagrammable.
What's Instagram?
Yeah. So dopamine decor is really, again, as I was saying, about falling in love with something. You know, it's about bringing elements of joy into your home, of pieces, of colours that you really, really love, and that just hits that dopamine level in your brain, and it just gives you that.
So when you walk in, you're like, oh God,
yes.
I love this room.
Yeah,
exactly. that excitement.
That excitement.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Dopamine.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. I've learned something.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really big trend at the moment. But again, you know, yes, go for it. If that is what makes your heart sing, then absolutely go for that. But then so much right now, you've got the other end of the spectrum, where it's much more Scandi, much more pared back, or, you know, where we've been in the lovely world of greys. Yeah. That is now definitely dead in the water.
Really?
So we are now...
So yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. Grey is definitely out.
So what colours? I mean, is there a colour that's fashionable then?
Yeah, well, I think now, so the grey, if you're in that grey zone, we're now moving through to warm neutrals, but that's about layering of textures, whether that be wood, soft boucles, wools, that kind of stuff. Okay. And then, you know, really layering them up on, starting with like a soft off-white, going right through to your browns and things as well. So so if that's the look that you want, we can do that as well. So, you know, we cover right through the spectrum of that as well. So it really depends on the client and who they are.
Sure. And
it's about drawing out who they are.
What sort of people use your service? Probably people like me who walk in confused and think I need some help. Is that? I mean, is it a range? Do people come with strong ideas, or often they just help me? I've got wood chip. I don't know what it is.
Yes. Please, that magnolia. I need to get rid of it. Yes, it's again, it's that's the beauty of being in John Lewis, is that we can have anybody from just doing up, you know, just buying a sofa and don't know what cushions to put on, or just need a little bit of extra tweaking, or right through to people who are doing full house redesigns, where we can do all their bedrooms, we can do a bit of kitchen styling, because a lot of rooms these days, kitchen and family rooms together at the same time. And then we have people, I had one client who literally bought one roll of wallpaper, but it just transformed
feature wall
and brought the whole room together, because she'd had colours in her sofa, colours on her cushions, colour in her rug, but just needed something to pull the whole thing together, and literally one roll of wallpaper just brought the whole thing together. And you know, so it was, she already had strong ideas of where she was, but she wasn't, something was missing. Yeah, it wasn't quite gelling, and we were able to sort of help her gel that together.
Show me that wallpaper then. That sounds like it's got
it was just a Morrison Co. wallpaper, and it just had all the right colours that she'd already used to bring that together for her.
And you working off a photograph, or do you go to the property? How does it work?
We can do Both. Ideally, before the first appointment, we ask customers to send us in photographs so we have an understanding of the space and what we're looking at. And then if they've got existing pieces, existing sofa or that family heirloom sideboard that they really want to incorporate, or they might have a painting that they really, really love. So we will work with those pieces and then just build it from there. Again, with the customer's feedback, it's just as important for us to understand what they don't like as well as what they do like. So some people are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say no to that or whatever, but we'd much rather they say no because it's about getting it right for them at the end of the day. So they can come with photographs, and then depending on the scale of the project, we can go out to visit them in their property, and then if they're getting curtains measured or blinds measured, obviously we've got our team of estimators that would go out and measure up for those as well. So yes, it's a bit of just depends on the project.
Sure.
Really.
So the main reason we invited you on, Mhairi, is because we're coming up to the time of year where people might start thinking, okay, new year, I'm going to be moving, I want to get my house ready for selling. Mm-hmm. So what would you suggest? We were just wondering what you would suggest about getting your home ready, getting your home into a nice presentable state. Is there the quick fixes that people can do?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first one really is declutter, and I'm sure you probably say this to your clients as well, but that is so important, is to really remove your personalization within the property. So say you've got 20 family photos out, reduce that down to a couple of photos. You don't want to strip it back so much that you haven't got any personality in the place. But really decluttering is the first and foremost. And then think, actually, is that sofa looking a little bit tired? Would a throw or some cushions on there just help elevate it a little bit? And then you can take these things with you, while you think, oh, I don't want to spend too much on it because I'm not going to just add those little elements in that you will take with you. Some plants, flowers, things like that make such a big difference. And then I would, don't get too caught up on having to spend loads of money on getting your your property ready. Just pare it back and don't take out too many elements. I've seen quite a few recently, and maybe they're rental properties on your website where they've stripped back and they've just got a bed and it has no bedding on it. Put a little bit of bedding on it. It just makes a big difference to the photographs and how it looks comfortable for somebody to live in, and people need to be able to imagine themselves in that space. So, pare it back a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've mentioned some of the key trends already, but is there any other, colours that you think people should add in that would maybe you're seeing your clients are more drawn towards? You mentioned the warm neutrals. Is there anything else?
I would say, we're coming away from the feature wall element. I mean, it can be quite fun to put in a nice big bold colour on a wall. But again, if red is your thing, it might not be the buyer's thing. So, just take those colours back and put in a nice soft off-white, not magnolia, but, something a little bit warming. I mean, we're seeing quite a few sort of rusty tones coming through at the moment, almost a little bit autumnal, but they just give that element of warmth really to a property. So, come away from that bright white that, everybody just sticks up, and put something a bit softer in there.
Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to fashion, there's, you have like the catwalk in Paris and there's Fashion Week and all that, I think. Yeah. I've been told. Where do styles and things come? How does it, what's out and what's in? Where does that come from? Is it media? How who decides? John Lewis.
Well, we have an in-house team of designers, from furniture to homeware to textiles and colour, and they all go to trade fairs across Europe and things, and they'll get the key trends from there. So people like Pantone, they set the colours really for the season, but they're doing so much research in terms of what's happening out there, and they pick up little elements of what the trends are, and then they'll bring them into homeware. And quite often we're seeing more and more that interiors will reflect fashion, and then fashion almost reflects interiors. So there's a lot more mixing of that these days than we used to see. It was quite separate, but it is, you know, quite often I'll maybe have a look and see what colours the client is wearing, because they'll say, oh, I don't know what colour I love, but I'm just like, oh, but you're wearing yellow and blue. You know, actually, do you really love those colours? And then, oh yeah, it's actually my go-to colours in my wardrobe. So, you know, and again, if somebody comes in and says, oh, I really love floral, but they're wearing stripes, I'm like, you know, are you sure it's floral? Are you into geometrics maybe? So it's about understanding them and who they are. So there's
a lot of psychology about all this, isn't
there?
There
is a little bit of psychology, definitely.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I suppose, I mean, fashion, again, I'm sort of like an expert here. There might be quarterly fashions. I guess with interiors, things stick around for a while. I mean, we've had grey for a good while now.
About 10 years, if not
10
a little
years?
bit more.
Wow.
Yes. So like things just evolved naturally, really, and then you see some of the big firms and what they're doing, and that'll be reflective in what we're doing at the moment. A really strong colour is damson, and that's a really deep purpley brown, and that's kind of harking back to a little bit of a 70s revival there. But there's just such richness and warmth in that again, it's going to be calming but interesting at the same time. And you'll see John Lewis has gone really big for it this season. We've got it in lighting, we've got it on our walls, we've got it in furniture, you know, we've got it in our cookware. Yeah, it's really right across the board. We've really gone strong on it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, rich colour. So
I'm writing that down. Damson.
Damson,
Give me damson. And here's a question for you. Of the period of history, what would be your most favourite period for interiors? I know you mentioned the 70s at one point.
Yes.
You go way back. You go back to Georgian times. If
No, I mean, my absolute love would be modernism from the 1930s, you know, Bauhaus, that kind of stuff. That
it's quite stark, isn't it, some of that?
Yeah, some of it can be, but it's the timeless element of it that I love. You know, Corbusier, his homes, and the way they thought about light and how that affects the space. And then they really brought in furniture, and that reflects the property as well, you know. So I love all of that kind of thing. But then I love mid-century as well, because again, it's timeless, and you can really go. You can go quite historic with mid-century, or you can go really quite modern with mid-century as well. So, you know, if you're looking to invest in a dining table or something like that, that G-plan, you know, you can take is so well designed that, you know, it'll last you forever, you know. And I think that's really important now, to get pieces that are going to last. Yeah.
Because I guess if you have, as you said, those kind of staple pieces like a dining table, or I don't know, things like you mentioned as well, like antique, maybe heirloom items. I guess you can obviously change colour palettes and things around those. You don't have, but you have the item for as long as possible, and then you can still refresh it with new styles and on the walls and in soft furniture.
Yeah, you can. You know, I've got my granny's old, again, G-plan sideboard in my home, and I absolutely love it. And I've gone really pop arty on the wall behind it, so it looks really modern. But then I could go completely the other end and go back to much more traditional colours from that period if I wanted to, you know. So, you know, it's sorry, I'm saying this again, timeless, but it really is. It's about sustainability, you know, and I think that's so important right now. And to have pieces that we're not just going to throw away. And I think John Lewis really brings forward that element in our furniture design and things like that, that, you know, if you buy that side table, that's going to last you 5 to 10 years, you know. before you think you need to update your style or whatever. So, yeah.
And that's the way it was in
Yeah.
say 60s and so, wasn't it? You know,
exactly.
things
And
were
I think
gifted as wedding presents, and they'd have them for a long time.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
What's your favourite period, man?
Yeah.
I like mid-century as well. That was when we moved into our flat. That was on our mood board. Whether or not we really achieved that is a different thing. But yeah, that was. But we've gone for a lot of dark wood in our flat, which I think seems to be quite popular just now as well. So, but yeah, what about you, Paul?
Ooh. Well, too, I'd say I like the Victorian opulence. So again, it's quite nice about the velvety curtains and nice fireplace and stuff. And yeah, probably the 50s, 60s. I always look at Mad Men and look at some of the style you see in those.
Yeah.
I thought that's just a cool era, wasn't it?
Yeah, very cool.
Everything was great. So yeah, that'd be my two. Definitely not the 80s, I would say. It'll have its day again, I'm sure.
It will, and I suppose we're seeing in terms of 80s, we had a little bit of sort of
Floral Laura. We had Laura Ashley
style, which actually is a brand we have in our collection, Laura Ashley, and we're actually seeing a little bit more of a movement. There is another trend called cottage chic out there, which I suppose is a modern take on that. There's florals and things, and we're seeing a bit more sort of ruffling coming back, trims are coming back as well. So yeah, I think we are moving into a little bit of a period of that, a little bit 80s revival, but done in a really fresh, clean palette, not going overly fussy with peaches and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like a really fresh green and a
hints of damson.
Yes, hints of damson. Yes. So I mean that's the beauty of now is you can go.
There's no rules.
There is no rules, and that's wonderful. People are really freed up to express themselves, and I think that's a fun part of the job, Yeah.
I guess with things like Pinterest and Instagram and even TikTok probably to a certain extent, people are able to see a huge range of inspiration from different styles rather than maybe in the past where they would have just gone to John Lewis and said, I don't know, you have to tell me. But you guys probably get lots of different clients wanting lots of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a variety of clients. Some people come with a whole Pinterest board already made up, and we're just taking those elements and putting them forward. To those that come in and just go, I just don't know where to start because there is too much information out there, so it's, and it's just, again, just going, it's okay, we've got you. We can help you work through what it is that you're trying to achieve, so...
Sure. And this isn't just for the rich and famous, is it? As you say, the service is for anyone. They come in store, they make an appointment with you?
Yes, they make an appointment with us, and they can do that online. If they go to our services tab on our website or search Home Design on John Lewis website, they'll find our landing page, where on there you've got profiles of all the different stylists as well. So if you want a specific stylist, you can book it through them because, again, there's 6 of us, so actually there's quite a number of us, and we all have different elements and different things to bring to the team. I know my colleague Laura loves Japandi Scandi.
I might know these down.
Japandi Scandi, yes. So that's kind of like a Japanese take on Scandinavian design. To Susie, who absolutely loves maximalism, but we can do all those elements, so it just depends if there's a time and slot that suits you as well. So yeah, it's a totally free service, and we work with people, we understand what it is they're doing, and then we will produce a mood board for them based on John Lewis products.
And all that's free?
And all that's free, yeah.
Oh,
we
wow.
also have a 3D layout program, so we can lay out the John Lewis products within your space, so you can really start to visualize how those pieces will look, and then we take time to understand the flow of the room, how people are going to move through it, how how many lamps do you need? You know, my personal mission is to eradicate the big lights.
Yes, I'm with you there.
Yeah. You know, we need to have mood lighting, we need to have ambient lighting, and that really just cozies up a room as well. So, you know, how many people just stick on that big light, you know? It's like, no, don't need to be sitting under all these lights, you know?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Though I was changing the batteries the other day and I thought, I need a head torch because everything was really dim in my place, and I thought, I needed the big lights on. You know, you do need it occasionally.
Yeah, you do, especially in the dark, you know, in the dark nights, but, you know, and that's when you maybe need a task light, you know, rather than that big light on.
Yeah. No, the big light is banned in my house, but so we have lots of little lights.
Yeah.
Don't you do flooring as well?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So that's the home design service. We can offer everything from flooring to curtains and blinds, etc., through to all your furniture and paint and wallpaper. So we can do the whole scheme for you.
Wow.
And we understand that our customers can't always do everything all at once. So we do work with our clients over a number of months. And it can even be up to a year, or you can do one room at a time and then come back and see us once you're ready to move on to the next room. So I think it's really beautiful to get to know your clients over time, and it can be really a lovely part of the job is you're really helping people, and that's just so really fulfilling. And I also think that the home design service being free enables people just to come and have a look, and if they're not sure, that's fine, you know, that's fine, we can leave it and pick it up again in a few months' time if they're not ready at that point to go ahead, you know, so...
I can see you love your job.
I do, I'm really
just
passionate,
Absolutely,
about it, you know,
Yeah.
it's... so many people don't know about our service, you know, and that it is free.
That's the astonishing bit. And is that on the basis that they buy the products from you, or is that just a risk you take, that you just do the design and you hope that they...
It is a little bit of a risk of the element, but, you know, really we would love them to buy the John Lewis pieces, you know, and that we can only work around the John Lewis pieces and their existing pieces that they've got, you know, putting together mood boards and things. You know, most people do buy into it, you know, and they understand that, you know, what they're getting with John Lewis is really quality product. So, so it's good fun.
Is it any room in the house someone can go with you if they've got a spare room and they're maybe thinking, I just don't know what to do with that? It's not just like the living room and family room and the bedroom.
No, absolutely. Any room in
any budget, box rooms,
any budget,
upwards,
any room. As I say, we've done rentals, and we've done holiday lets up north. We've done a castle, you know, and we've done, you know, just styling somebody's bathroom, you know. So it's such a wealth of scope that we can do for people. And, you know, I think people are looking for bathrooms to be more spa-like, and sometimes when they're left with quite a clinical space, you know, it's how can they elevate it, you know, and they can come to see us for just that, or we can do the entire house, you know. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I might be in touch.
Please do
I've got a couple of rooms that I just, need elevating.
Stuck and you just don't know where to go, come and see us, come and have a chat.
We should do a show on that.
Yeah.
We should do like the before and after.
Oh, wow.
And we all get our dopamine hit from watching your place get done up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the only thing is we don't do the actual decorating.
Of
you
course.
know, so it's over to you guys to do your own decorating,
Yeah.
but we will put all the elements together for you.
Oh, that
Brilliant.
sounds great.
Mhairi, that has been great. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's been
And
that's
I've
been
learned
wonderful.
dopamine decor, Japandi, Scandi.
Yeah.
I've got all these phrases now.
Cottage chic,
Cottage
you know,
chic.
maximalism.
Maximalism.
Yeah, you're totally on trend.
I'm there.
Paul's going to be an excellent dinner party guest now.
I'll never be that.
No, but thank you, Mhairi, very much for
Thank you so
giving
much for
time to speak
having
to
us. Yeah, it's been
Thanks, Mhairi.
fun.
So that was our episode with Mhairi from John Lewis. If you are looking to book in for their free service, we'll pop all the details in the show notes, whether that's on YouTube or on podcast. You'll be able to click through and book yourself an appointment with them.
Yeah, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We learnt a lot. I'm going to say it, Japandi, Scandi.
Japandi Scandi.
Japandi, Scandi. Don't mean decor. And, of course, a hint of damson.
Yes.
Or a lot of damson.
Yeah, well.
Either or, you
yeah,
choose.
Whatever is your preference.
Whatever's right for you is right.
Again, as always, if you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like, a rating, or a review wherever you're listening or watching. And remember, if you're subscribed, hit the bell button and you will get notified when new episodes drop. But otherwise, I think that's us for this week.
There is. I'm going to go home, look at my 4 walls and try and figure out where it all went wrong. But apart from that, as I say, thanks for listening and we will catch you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.